Hello, thank you for joining us once again. This week, we cross over to the fifth key driver of enterprise competitiveness. Remember, there are 7 key drivers in total, and so far we have covered 4. These are productivity levels and efficiencies, skills and qualifications, volume, structure and nature of demand, and the level of financial investment in a firm. And now we cross over to the 5th key driver of enterprise competitiveness, which is the use of technology, innovation, and science knowledge in an enterprise. Enjoy!
Okay, as we cross over to item number 5 in our 7-issue series of the key drivers of competitiveness in a firm or a company, and this number 5 is the use of technology, innovation, and science knowledge in an enterprise. As we move to this number 5 in our 7 part, let me remind our youth, especially those who have followed us all through the years, because I began this work 1992 really across the country, but I keep coming down to business as I guess we grow older. I want to remind those who have followed us through the years, some of those that I see that come to our offices without an appointment any day to look for us for financial and other forms of support for their businesses. I want to remind them that there are several implicit, I think the word is underlying, or often almost invisible, but ever-present powerful yardsticks, if you look closely, for their presence or absence. There are these implicit things that measure our progress on the journey to make an enterprise competitive, regardless of how much financial investments we have made in a company. So at my age and experience, even me, daily I wake up every morning and I ask God for help to stay in the game and to make my contribution in the search for both financial and social capital, along with human resources. And even more, I wake up looking for what I call a blast of new ideas so that we can make our businesses grow. So it's not for you young people only, it is even for us who are more than 20 years in business, that we search for these underlying elements that help us to compete. But I can tell you it is tough. Just like Apostle Paul in the Bible, in the book of Philippians chapter 3 verse 12, he says, and I quote, "Not that I have already obtained all this or already arrived at my goal, but I press on to take hold of that which Christ Jesus took hold of me." Even the best of the best presses on. Now, my schedule has been so stretched lately, given the intensity of the mission and goals that I set for myself and the people I work with, my colleagues in the public and private sector, especially in the trade and export sector. We set ourselves a goal to double our exports as a country by getting the necessary attention for our export sector. The way, for example, the security sector or the roads and infrastructure sector of the country has been given attention in the last 15 years, which has given us the current stock of infrastructure growth. That's the attention we want to bring to this export sector, and it makes me very busy. Now, the first of these underlying elements on a cellular level, for lack of a better word, the yardsticks or measure, the first of these is the resolute belief by the leaders, managers or owners of a business, the resolute belief in the mission and purpose of that business. The mission is what makes us rise above current circumstances every day. Sometimes these circumstances scream impossibilities at us. The leaders and managers of a business need to have a much larger view of what they are doing than the parochial, often narrow view that focus on profits or on status. The managers or owners or leaders of a business need to always ask the question, why? Why? Every time, in order that they don't get stuck in the past or hope that the present circumstances will remain forever. Things change, but character and thought process must remain. Now, this week I had a wonderful book. The authors are Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. They are former US Navy SEALs turned into business consultants. They wrote a book in 2015, and the title is Extreme Ownership. This book brought these lessons home to me this week. These authors use the laws of combat to define and deconstruct purposes for businesses and help business leaders to understand that business is combat by other means. They say, and I quote, "Combat is reflective of life, only amplified and intensified. Decisions in business and in war have immediate consequences, and everything matters," close quote. For example, the lack of coordination and planning by managers in a business, as well as in the army, if at war, can lead to friendly fire, or what the Americans call blue on blue. Friendly fire, or a unit turning guns on each other instead of the enemy, is the worst that can happen in a battle. For example, those of you who read history, and they mention this example in the book, in 1971, during the US-Vietnam War, there was a very good and brave fighting unit called Platoon X-Ray. One day, one evening, the unit separated into two, late evening for patrol in that very heavily forested delta called Mekong Delta, those of you who like history. Now, without good communication, and in the middle of the night, the members of this platoon met at different locations, and they couldn't recognize each other. They instead turned the guns on each other, killed themselves, killed each other, only to realize later in the morning that they had decimated themselves without the enemy firing a single shot. In the army, as in business, turning weapons on each other instead of focusing on a mission is a function of poor communication, poor planning, rumors, and a lack of honest conversation of why we are in the business or why we are in that organization. We score our own goals when we do that against the competition in the business. This is how suspicion, friendly fire, is how suspicion based on negative perceptions in a business or in an institution, this is how this negativity grows. And even more, this is how grounds for enemy infiltration is created. You know, I can tell you today, I am facing this daily in my public work. And I realize how so hard it is to implement anything in a government system. I have now stopped being critical or even trying to be right. I'm trying to be kinder. I have stopped being forthright on things just so I can be compassionate. I have ceased being critical of some of our institutions because now I have decided to begin to pray and to work hard with those who see the greater picture in the hope that we can pull everybody along by the sheer power of example and demonstration of goodwill, especially in the things and the tasks I'm handling. There is no other way to do this in an institution, my friends who are watching, whether in business or a public institution. There's no other way other than keeping your arms wide open, reaching out, and speaking genuinely about what really matters for the country and for the business. Have a great weekend.
Would like to hear from you. Please email us at info@tapmedia.com and visit our website at www.tapmedia.com. You can also visit our offices located at Tomosi Business Park, Luzira, Port Bell Road, or call 0414 220 702. Thank you.